Hi, this is Becca from The Clever Teacher. In the last video, I showed you how to group your standards into units. In this final video, I'm going to show you how to take the units and add them to your long-range plan template. Okay, so here's the template I set up in the first video. For reference, I added what we decided the units were at the top here, and then I'm going to delete that later. But that way I just remember how many weeks I'm going to spend on each unit. So geography, for example, is 4 weeks. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding them in. So geography, 4 weeks. So I'm going to write it here, geography. It's going to start right after the Intro to US History unit, and then I'm going to select 4 cells and merge them like that. Okay, next I had economics for 3 weeks. Oh, and I love it because I have 3 weeks before fall break, so that's perfect. We'll be able to wrap that up before fall break starts. So I'm first gonna merge and then write economics. Okay, next I have 7 weeks for the American Revolution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, once again, it's not always gonna work out like this, but I love that after fall break, I have exactly 7 weeks between fall break and Thanksgiving break. So that will all be American Revolution. I'm gonna merge those together. Okay, next is US Constitution, 4 weeks, presidential election, 1 week. Okay, so I only have 3 weeks here, I think, but I wanted to do 4 weeks. So what I'm gonna do is have this be US Constitution, and then I'm gonna have this week be civics review, because I noticed in the standards there was a lot in there about citizenship. So that way we have 4 weeks for the Constitution / citizenship. Okay, I think the next one was about US elections, which is a 1 week unit. Then, okay, Early Republic, 3 weeks, westward expansion, 4 weeks. Okay, so Early Republic, I'm gonna select 3 cells, merge them. This will be Early Republic. Westward expansion was 4. Okay. I don't love that there's just a week before spring break. I'm gonna just have that be a review week, or if hypothetically, if I got behind, then that could be a week where I catch up. So I'm just gonna give myself like a little wiggle room because I don't wanna start a new unit right before spring break. Okay, and then next I have Civil War and Reconstruction, 4 weeks, which we're gonna, okay. I know it's only a 3 week unit. I put 4 because I was trying to like give us a little extra time, but I feel like we could do it in 3 weeks and then we would be done before state testing. So we're gonna make that go back to being a 3 week unit, and you will have stuff like this when you're putting it in where you might need to adjust the length of the unit because of breaks. Okay, and then I have state testing, end of year project. I'm gonna have this be like a 3 week thing, and I'm gonna write end of year project, or I feel like this would be a good place to pull from my Native American regions unit. It's not part of the standards, but we do have geography, and I feel like a lot of what is in that unit would go really nicely with the conversations we had earlier in the year. So we're just gonna see how we feel. Last week of school activities, okay. We're done. Okay, the last thing I want to show you. First, I'm gonna just delete this cell. And I'm gonna zoom out so it looks a little bit nicer. So here's my year. I'm also gonna add a column for quote of the week. If you remember in the last video, I noticed that so many of the standards were based on like higher level skills, like inferring, taking different perspectives, analyzing, and a lot of ELA skills as well. And I want to make sure I'm hitting those skills throughout the year. And the quote of the week resource is such a good way to do that. You can use it as morning work, like 15 minutes a day. You can use it in centers. You can use it as an early finisher. That was one way I used it when I was teaching. But in my head, in this example, it would be morning work every single day. That way the kids are being exposed to primary sources every single day and like every single week of the year. So I'm gonna add, let's just say quote of the week in this column. And then I already went through, just to save time, some of the quotes of the week and like how they align with the units. So I would start with doing the exploration and colonization quotes, because I feel like even though that's not in the standards for 5th grade for Arizona, a refresher of that would really help them understand the American Revolution. And so we could do that as morning work while we're doing our geography and econ, and like remember about the 13 colonies. And then, actually there's even more of those. So it goes for 6 weeks. And then we could do our American Revolution quotes, which would go perfectly while we're doing the American Revolution units. And then I have the Constitution and early Republic quotes would go well here. And then next is the westward expansion and early Republic. I don't know why early Republic's on there twice. I think that should be like industrialization. And then ending with the Civil War and Reconstruction quotes. And that does come before I teach the Civil War unit, but I feel like it's okay as a little preview, and it will give them some context for when we dive into Civil War after spring break. So that's how I would line that up. And then I would do a different type of morning work for these weeks and for these weeks. Okay, I hope that helped. I would love if you commented below if you like just where you're at with your long range plan. If you've started it, if you haven't started it yet, if you're done, please let me know down below, and thank you so much for watching.